Aaliyah, will you take the questions if any of the audience members have questions, and we will answer your questions? I need a question on the right side, 2 questions, and 2 questions on the left side. Can you all handle that for us, please? Thank you so much. Jerry and Scott, I know you love the leather seats, but could you sashay on over here, please? Where's Lulanda? Lou? Way up? Unless you feeling? Also, in another minute, lunch has already been provided, an amazing lunch from Shorty's Soul Food. You can take your lunch now, or if you want to, you can grab your lunch and eat it, or you can take your lunch with you. So are we good? 2 questions. Think about who will be asking the questions. Jerry Ann, can we have you come over to this side so we can kind of balance it out a little bit? Thank you so much. Yeah, get your butt over there. To the left, to the left. See, they still navigate towards the back. Thank you so much. Pardon? No, that's why you're going to take their questions and I'll read them, or Sally and I will read them from the mother. Maria. Okay, we're going to start with part 1. Thank you, wonderful assistant Maria. Okay. Courtney, what we consider? I need to come over.
No, you're good.
You don't have to set your seat towards it.
Ricky? Ready? Get ready, get ready, get ready. It's Let's Talk Business with Cheryl Cusseau, and I am here with my co-host, Dr. Sally Stone. Welcome back to the show. The amazement begun already. As you all know, the plan was to have the show in August for National Black Business Month. Why August, you say? There are 31 days in the month of August. Why August, you say? We always introduce you to 31 businesses. Why 31, you say? Because it has power. We ask you to bring or spend $31+ your way with a Black-owned business. Today, we've gathered some of the industry's best. Yes, absolutely. And they're joining us live. If you're listening on Facebook, please comment and share. How were we able to make this happen, Dr. Sally? We had some amazing colleagues, starting with E.A. Pender III and Associates. We'll hear from him shortly. Also, Medco, Minority Enterprise Development Corp. They're here and they're going to share with you why it is so very, very important that we as business owners, that we as community, that we as just people in general support our small minority and especially our Black-owned businesses. We'll start with my right, Mr. Corey McCaster.
Well, thank you all. Thank you for having me here today, and I appreciate coming out and being able to say a few words. With the whole thing with Medcore is really trying to connect small minority businesses to resources so that they grow and expand and be able to become a more productive and fruitful organizations. One of the things that we really love to see is healthy small businesses from a financial standpoint, as well as from just human resource and capital standpoint. When we, at MedCore, when we have our annual conference, you have that opportunity to link up and connect with small businesses that are of the same size. You're also able to get resources that you probably wouldn't see normally. You know, and our conference is coming up at the end of the month, which is on the 28th and 29th. We have, you know, on our website, you just go to search for MedCore, and you'll be able to find it. Or if you want to, we also have flyers and things that are available for those that are in the audience, so that they can pick it up and take a look at it. But you know, once again, it is very important. We see at MedCore that working with small businesses and helping minority businesses keep dollars in the community. You know, dollars can turn over 2, 3, 4 times in the community. We're going to have more jobs. We're going to be able to have individuals who stay in the community and don't get displaced. So there's a lot of different things that come out of having strong minority businesses, you know.
Thank you so much. The takeaway, you want healthy capital. By MedCore supporting us as one of our premier sponsors for the Power of 31. Remember, 31 is so very, very important. We have, Corey, 4 of our business owners that are signing up for MedCore.
Awesome.
From and if there are 4 more out there, we'd love to have you. Before you leave today, and for those who are listening online, make sure you go to the website. There's still seats available, and we'll talk about that a little later. But the piece that they offer is called the Matchmaker. You really want to make sure that you meet and shake hands with the decision makers of a lot of the major corporations in the Tampa Bay area. I speak from experience. Now, on to our second premier sponsor supporter. If you're going to stay healthy as a business, you really need to hear from Mr. Ernie Pender III on how he can help you stay healthy with your capital. Mr. Pender?
Thank you, Ms. Casal. Thank you, and Dr. Stone, all of you online and here today for your support. I'm just glad to be here, glad to be a part. I own a company, 48 years here in Tampa Bay. EA Pender III and Associates. We're a financial services company, and I like to tell people I sell money at a discount. And what I mean by that is we're providers of benefits for your small businesses. And we do have a department that works with those of you that are not in business, families, individuals. But the focus on business, I find is so important. And I really embrace the Power of 31, because I've often said, we are some of the best kept secrets. You know what I mean? And it shouldn't be that way. But it comes from not having exposure and constant exposure, right kind of exposure. But with Ms. Casal and Dr. Stone and MedCore, this is phenomenal, because I had to, for at least 38 of my 48 years, I had to make it with a stick and a rock. I had no support. I mean, the old-fashioned way, knocking doors, you know, telephones, and just networking. But after reconnecting with Ms. Casal and Black Pages this year, it has all just proliferated. Everybody's coming together. There's a movement going on now. I mean, it's all over the Bay Area, and Black businesses are coming together to support one another. And we need this support. 31, that's nothing. Spend money every month, $31 plus with a Black-owned business. We have to do that. The other cultures, you see them, they come to this country and they support one another, whether it's hair or food or nails, you get me? They're always supporting one another. And we haven't done that, but this is a new day. And in our business, we thrive on teaching because we are so community-based. And I have some educators on my team there that are here, and we believe in financial literacy. That's our thrust first, and then we go to business. Why? Because if we're not speaking the same language, I've lost you, correct? And that happens in this business, especially with the Affordable Care Act. So many people believe that President Barack Obama did not do an adequate job. It was just a lack of communication. And there were the powers that be that did not want you all, or me, to benefit from it. But health insurance really is affordable, provided you allow us to walk you through the marketplace. You know, that digital, that marketing machine everybody goes to, and they come away cussing, saying, I got a plan that don't fit me and it costs too much. And we've had this experience over and over again. They come back or initially try it themselves, then come to us. We back the information out, we put it back in, and this is no story. We have literally saved, I'll give you my best incident. A family, we saved them $1,000 a month. $1,000 a month. Just knowing how to work the marketplace and find the right plan for the right price. They just didn't know. And if you don't speak the language, you're not certified, have a background in insurance, you're gonna go left also. You're gonna go left.
We're going to leave a little bit of time for you because you're one of the guest panelists.
Can I sing before? Go ahead.
Absolutely. So you can continue the conversation. Again, we could not make this move. We position ourselves. We could not make the show possible today if it were not for people like you heard from Corey McCasser, you heard from Dr. Pender. You are going to hear from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other of our business colleagues who felt it not robbery to leave their businesses and come and share with you so that you can better be prepared to run your business. Part 1 of our show today is open for business. We are all business owners on this platform. To our sponsor, Rolanda McDuffie, CPA. Thank you for your support. While I'm calling your name, let me just go ahead and do a brief introduction. If I had to share with you, actually, I believe Sally's going to do your introduction, so we're going to come back to that, but this is a world travel. Do you have any space left on your passport? Also joining us, this man wears several hats, but we'll introduce you later. You could almost say Reverend Dr. Attorney, Entrepreneur, Larry Mitchell. Thank you for running. And if you're wondering, the glasses on the forehead, that's just his signature style. He has swag. He has swag. Thank you for believing in the power of 31 and wanting to support us. Also, let's segue over here to my right. This young lady that's dressed in red and white one day was an eaglet, and today she's soaring as an eagle. Our colleague and one of the first persons who joined us to support the power of 31 and to do lunch and learn is Thompson Property Management Group. Ann Thompson, realtor, educator. Yes, go ahead. Over on the Tampa Bay side, we lost one of our amazing community organizers, business owners, advocacy for the working class, specifically for women. Beautiful, beautiful woman, and that of Katie McGill. That was Ann Thompson's best friend. So she's doing what a best friend would do. but she sent us her young protege, Miss Tasha Glover. She will be lighting the camera all throughout the show today. Tasha is a realtor, and she is also an associate with Thompson's Property Management Group. Ann Thompson, I know you're listening and looking. Thank you so much for your support, and thank you for sending us the eaglet whose wings you've already clipped. Next, we have Mrs. Keisha Pickett Board. Now, if you look at the people on our panel, they're giving you numbers that are so incredible. I don't believe Ernie Pendant, but because he's a minister, we have to believe that he's been in business for 40 years, but he doesn't have a day over 40. Keisha has been in journalism for over 2 decades. It doesn't seem possible, but she, because of Pickett's PR, the Pickett PR group, she's going to join us and tell us how important it is to have a PR person on your team. And believe you me, by the time this lunch and learn is over, make sure you have all of these representatives on your team. We also have, and I can't believe I'm saying a decade, Jeanette, Mrs. Jeanette Diva J. Forge Smith, the founder, president of Dash Coordinating and Marketing LLC. Thank you for your support. We're all gathered today, my brothers and sisters, business owners. We're all gathered today to share with you the importance of having a balcony of people in your arsenal of co-hosts in order for you to have and run a successful business. So part 1, open for business. Part 2, how to stay in business.
Actually, you covered it quite well, and I am excited to hear from these amazing panelists that are here today. I believe one of the most important things that we can do as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as community advocates, is to be informed and share so that others can be informed. And so as you know, myself and my husband, I give God praise for him. He's kind of running around. I just get a shout out. Can we celebrate him? Mario's in the background, bringing this capacity to the well. And as many are familiar with the well, I'm going to share just this one thing about the well. The sole significant purpose of the well is to be that space, that hub, that opportunity for businesses to come together and connect, collaborate, create, and celebrate. And that's exactly what we're doing today with the Power of 31. And I am eternally grateful for my friend, my joint at the hip, SNS, Sally and Cheryl, for her seeing something in me and wanting to collaborate. This is just the beginning, I believe. And so I just take my hat off to those that are here. Help us help those that need to be in this space. And when I say space, I mean the well, but I also mean the entrepreneur space, the decision-making space, the influencer space, the advocate space. And I believe that we are the ones that are going to do it. If not us, who? So that's what I want to add. Oh, where am I going here? I'm going to
have the microphone. Please go ahead and start with our first entrepreneur, Ms. Rolanda McDuffie. Tell us a little bit about.
Absolutely, and I do this with joy. I give my caveat first. I am a behind the scenes person. Cheryl Ballin told me that I was going to be the host today. Now, mind you, I have a degree in journalism, come from a strong background in entertainment. Thank God for my BET days, but I was on the other side. But I'm gonna do this. All right, Ms. Rolanda S. Duffy, CPA. She's a native of Tampa, attended North Carolina A&T. If you know, you know. Go Aggies. Technical State University, where she earned a bachelor's degree in accounting. Mrs. Duffy continued her education by obtaining an MBA with a concentration in computer resources and information management, as well as her master's in accounting and finance. Ms. Duffy manages a successful full-service CPA firm that she started over 8 years ago. Her professional passion is to assist the nonprofit organizations and help small business owners grow and become financially fit through the use of accounting. Somebody ought to say amen. Taxes, investing, and business advisory services. That same passion is what drives her to serve the community in various ways. In addition to running a CPA firm, she is also an adjunct professor, teaching accounting, business, and software training courses. Mrs. Duffy is frequently called upon to provide her expertise at workshops, seminars, and conferences. I share that with you from personal experience. She currently serves on the board of directors of several nonprofit organizations and provides her expertise in various capacities to different nonprofit organizations all over the United States of America. And all the people gave her a shout out of celebration.
Thank you so much, my sister, SNS. One of the things that we're going to do in part one for our business owners, cover discussions such as developing a business plan, registering your business the right way. We're going to talk about choosing a business structure. It's a must. In addition to that, securing funds, creating a financial plan, finding a suitable location for your business, brick and mortar, virtual. How are you going to hang your shingle? Where are you going to hang your shingle? Marketing, branding strategies, and then media, social relations. You've heard some very, very important, and you are challenged. You have done a lot to be 23. And you are just super excited. From your expertise, what would you say to our radio listening audience, those who are joining us live on Facebook, to this audience here? Most are business owners. When we're talking about starting a business, you know how excited we get. We think we're gonna make all that money when we first go around, and when that first check comes, we think it all belongs to you. Some of us think it all, but help us in your expertise and in your own way in covering subjects of what we need to do when we start thinking developing a business and registering a business.
Thank you so much. And I truly appreciate the warm introduction. That was beautiful. It's important that when you're starting out in a business that you create a business plan. Now, this plan doesn't have to be 30, 40 pages long, but it needs to be clear instructions on what your business idea and concept is, how you're going to run your business, and the products and services that you're going to provide. It's also important that you do a market analysis to understand who your competition is, who you're competing against, and what services that they provide. And also understand where you can come into the market to provide those services that other business owners similar to yourself are not providing. And then the most important thing, at least from my perspective, is that financial projection, understanding how you're going to make money, how much money you expect to make in those first few years, as well as being clear about your operating costs and the cost of running your business. So until you get clear on how all of those things, it's going to be difficult to operate your business successfully. Yes, you can operate it, but you may be struggling initially because you're not clear on what your role as a business owner is. Your business plan is really a roadmap of how you're going to grow your business and the things that you're going to do in your business in order to succeed. Now, a lot of times business owners want to hire someone to do that for them.
Yes.
I would strongly suggest that you do it yourself because no one really understands your business the way that you do. They don't understand your ideas and your concepts the way that you do. And so you would have to really sit down and break it down to that person that you're hiring to do it. But if you're going to spend that much time explaining to someone what your plans are, you might as well do it yourself and just do the research so that you're clear on who your competition is and the things that you can do to stand out within the marketplace. So that's first point as far as building the business plan. As far as registering your business, that's also important as well. Registering as an LLC or a C corporation within the state. If you decide to be an S corporation, or excuse me, a sole proprietor, you also should be registering your business as a DBA, meaning doing business as, so that if someone is on SunBiz or any other state and they're doing a search for your business, they'll know exactly who that business owner is by doing that search. And also, you also want to protect yourself, but that's another conversation that we'll have later on down the line about establishing your business. But if you want to run your business authentically and truly, it's important that you establish that business up front. I know a lot of business owners got into issues during the pandemic because their business was not registered correctly. And so they weren't able to get that funding. And so it's important that you have that foundation set up and established in the very beginning.
Rolanda, that is so true. I was a part of a workshop during the pandemic. And we had the Small Business Association, we had the City of Tampa, and so many of our small business owners could not receive the funding that later they came back, whether you got 10,000 or 20,000, the loans were forgiven. Imagine how life-changing for your business that could have been. And we'll talk about risk in the contingency plan later. But thank you so much for pointing our radio listening audience and our guests today. It's lunch and learn. I believe, Dr. Stone, they're going with learning first and then lunch, and that's perfectly fine. But again, thank you so much. Dr. Stone?
As long as we're eating, right? We are being fed. Mind, body, and soul. And I believe I was the recipient of a business that received that funding and it was forgiven.
Yeah.
And one of the main reasons is we were set up appropriately. And the accountant that we worked with specifically said there was so much money left on the table because organizations were not set up appropriately. One thing I can tell you that the person that I'm going to introduce next knows how to set it up appropriately. I bring to you none other the incomparable Mr. Larry S. Mitchell, a native Floridian, grew up in Fort Pierce in a very loving and Christian home, appropriately reflected in himself as a person. He is one of two sons to Willie and Ruby Mitchell. He is the father of 5 daughters and 1 granddaughter. He is a graduate of Fort Pierce High School. Hold on for this one. Florida A&M University. I'll take a pause for the call. Tallahassee, Florida, and Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He holds a law degree and a pharmacy degree. Has worked 23 years as a pharmacist at Met Drugs in Lakeland and worked in this capacity throughout Florida as well. He founded New Life Outreach Ministry in 1989. And I can personally attest to the amazing and extraordinary work in this community that he has been able to do through New Life. And I am so excited to see what he has up next because he is building new buildings, opening up job opportunities, and providing resources to a demographic that is in such need. So we take our hats off to you, Larry, for New Life Outreach Ministry, and he continues to serve in that capacity as executive director. In 1989, and since then, he's been executive director. He's traveled for 14 years of his adult life doing faith-based foreign medical missionary work in South Africa and Central and South America. Larry is a member of Harvest Church in Lakeland, a servant and a community activist whose calling is to reach out with inspiration of hope, compassion, love, and by the way of a risen Savior. Let me hold my hand up, the right one, our Lord and Savior, to the least, the lost, and the last. He is an active member of the Lakeland chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, Central Florida Business Diversity Council, Lakeland Chamber of Commerce, and the Lakeland branch of the NAACP. I present to you Mr. Larry Mitchell. Celebrate him for us today. All right.
All of that need to be updated. You did good. I just need to update something else. Excuse me, guys, look at here. What I'm seeing here and what I've experienced in my years in business, we're reaching the pinnacle of minority participation, not just in the United States, but around the globe, particularly Africa. I'm speaking of. Do you feel the movement that is going on in Africa? I mean, if you're not into that movement and seeing it, you need to get on board because it encourages us that we have a lot of power when we work together with our brothers over in Africa. And matter of fact, I have a daughter over there now in Tanzania. I know I see what's happening over in Ghana, of course, Nigeria, and some of the other countries. From a business standpoint, from an economic standpoint, through digital marketing, they're able to do things that they never thought they would be able to do in the remote areas of Africa, which is a lot of remote area in Africa, where there's a lot of countryside. And so I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the network collaboration. We just left PNC up in Dallas with Dr. George Fraser. He is turned if you don't know who Dr. George Fraser is, y'all Google him. He is the guru of networking and collaboration. And he's about 80-something years old, but don't look at it, right? He just turned on the mantle to a young person to take it from here. And that's what we must do. We have to season people, raise them up on the side of us to take on what we're doing and other things that they have passion of. So, because time moves so fast, I'm just 40 years up. In my spirit, you know what I mean? My body, my mind tell me this is where I'm at. So I want to hold it as long as I can. Hold on, right? So I know the whales, and I've gotten to know Cheryl real well. What's so unique about us and what we have to continue to do is bring all our talent together in a managerial type of way, an effective way that it could reach the multitude, and to do it unselfishly, to be intentional about what your passion and your mission is. So these are some of the things I've learned in a multitude of business opportunities and things I'm involved with. As she mentioned, I came to Lakeland out of law school at Southern in 1983. And, Lakeland Polk County was #1 in the country, in the United States, in unemployment. I couldn't find a pharmacy job. I couldn't, of course, a law job. Eventually, a lawyer picked me up and did some amount of work for, back then, $8 and some hours, a lot of money. And then, pharmacy I eventually got a pharmacy job. So I was doing both things, I had a family. And eventually that drugstore that I went into in 83, I stayed there 20-some years. And I became a co-partner with it, right? So I learned the business side of things, the managerial side of things. I didn't know the behind the scenes stuff. So the office, the bookkeeping, the tax stuff, the da. That, and it takes, if you ask me what it takes to run a business, I think things that Ms. McDuffie has mentioned, but I think knowledge is power. You have to continue to learn it, and to apply those things that you learn. And I've learned so much when it comes to management and running a business. And then I always tell people, my story is not one that is not mentioned. I became a drug addict. I said, a drug addict? Well, of course. Pharmacy, they supplied me with my needs. Okay. And it took many years for that to catch up with me, right? So I would tell people, and overcoming. We're all overcoming something. So when she mentioned about my missionary trip, I became a missionary, foreign medical missionary through the Foreign Medical Division of the Assembly of God. And I flew all over the country as their pharmacist, voluntarily. And so culturally, learning that culture of other people, how they live, how they do things, was an everlasting experience. I bring that back. And I started New Life Outreach Ministry, which is a drug rehab center. We're celebrating 35 years this year. And I didn't know, well, I did know, she wrote a book called How to Start a Nonprofit. Creating, it's right over there. I get it, and you can get it today, right? And online. You gotta tell me when you're off, I need it. I was trying to lay the foundation of 37 years of a diverse business and activist into this section here and bringing out things that I've learned. Because one of the things I was going to talk about, I hope I still can talk about it, is preparing yourself for being sued from a legal standpoint, right? Because it can happen from your employee. It can happen from your client. It can come by way of your vendor, your competitor, your ex, or your to-be. Never know where it's gonna come. But be ready. And you say, well, what things are there to be ready for? Well, you need an insurance guy. Yeah. You need a policy to protect you in your business, your integrity of your business. I done been through this, okay? I'm telling you what I know, right? And you have to have a lawyer who has a specialty in certain areas. And that's what CFBDC has the contacts of providing you depending on what your situation, a lawyer that we can refer you to. And make sure that your insurance policy covers the things that are most important to you. A slip and slide, get hurt on your property is a big money maker, okay? And so a lawyer who deals with that is not the same lawyer who perhaps would deal with a product that is defective. So you have to know who to go to for what situation. And discrimination, which harassment, those are special areas. So I would just, there's some other things to say, but I know we got to move on.
Thank you. But while you still have the microphone, because you ran that acronym off so quickly, but Central Florida Business Diversity Council, will you please allow our listeners to know what it's about and how they can join in and participate while he's getting a drink? The meeting is held the last Wednesday of the month.
That's right.
It fluctuates. Sometimes it may be the 4th or the 5th, but the last Wednesday of the month. You will meet some of the most phenomenal business owners or individuals in certain different fields.
That's right.
That you can touch and speak to and ask questions. And it's normally a packed house every single session. Are you back with us?
I'm back with you.
I just have to,
Yes.
well, no, I just want to say, just a touch point on that, as a member of the board member, as a board member and a longstanding member, I can tell you that my first connects when my husband and I, when Mario and I began to onboard the well, was through Larry and the resources that, yeah, absolutely. We got to understand. So what he's saying is not just, rhetoric. It's actuality. It's reality. And we point people to the CFBDC and to Larry because, and I'll end with this. He shared just a smidget of his testimony, but we all need to know an influencer who can connect you. There are times when Larry called people and said, hey, I want to introduce the well, I want to introduce well done events. And then on the flip side, he will call us at any point in time, say, hey, I got somebody I need you to meet. So it works both ways. And I appreciate you for that. And I don't know if you want to say anything else about CFBDC, but.
Oh, define it. Let me give a short background on how CFBDC came about. The NAACP filed a lawsuit against the county some years ago and won, and it basically mandated the county to provide an opportunity for diversity into the county programs, right? And so CFBDC was developed, and mainly it was for contractors. Okay, and then years later, we provided it for everyone. So in anything that you believe in and do, guys, you got to put the foot to the metal. You got to be intentional. You got to sacrifice. It doesn't come easy. You got to fight the good fights and to finish this race. And but I would say one thing that I think is most important with any business is relationships. I got a relationship with this young lady. Yes, I do. Okay, let me define that. Because I continue to get her engaged with stuff that's going on. I refer people to her and so forth. But, you know, relationship is so important because it's better than money. That's social capital. We have established relationship. I just shared this part with because he came and spoke to us at CFBDC about 3 months ago. That's the state attorney. And I had the state attorney come and speak because I have a great relationship with the state attorney, Grady. I make sure I know all the people that could put you behind jail and get you out of jail. You know? Yeah, and get you out. I'm serious. Save you money in high places, people in high places, right? So he came and spoke and basically said, you know, we all know somebody who's been to jail, on their way to jail, or getting out of jail. You know what I mean? And so CFBDC is able to be that middle person to speak on behalf of business or individuals when it comes to these guys who make these decisions in the judiciary system. You know, a great asset, a great opportunity. Because, and that's not only for adults, that's for juveniles as well. You know, we play that role. We, as Black people, we almost have to play every kind of role. We have to be everything to everybody. You know, it's, but I don't mind because it's my gift. And I don't want to leave here without providing what my gifts are to give people opportunities. So I think we have to relationships, and you think that's just social economics, capital. You know, you got to go places where you don't feel like going. You have to send someone perhaps sometime when you just can't get there, and then report back to you. You have to be on boards, on certain boards. You know, people got to know Sally way before they decided to give her the money to build this place. And the people in the community had to know her in order to back her up and speak on her behalf to the people who make the decisions to do it. This was not an easy thing to do. Yeah. And it was not, and we went through several different aspects of getting there. So I'm getting the main way.
We will get to come back now and hear a little more, but we've got some other people that are 40 like you. So thank you so much. This is the lawyer in the group. Make sure as business owners, you get a chance to have a conversation with him one-on-one. He knows some people. Today, he can serve as social capitalist. Yes, you can. Thank you. Thank you so much. Moving right along, you want to hang that shingle? You want to open that business? I see y'all online. You're either streaming Facebook or you're ordering Rolanda's book. You might have to go ahead and give them your link. You need resources. You need financial resources, and that's what we're going to hear about. So we're going to bring up securing funds, creating a financial plan. Talk about this plan, but you're gonna need some money. All of us don't have a rich uncle or a rich set of parents. You've been holding on to those $500 and you want to start a business. Registry is gonna take all of that today. But that being said, I'd like to share with you a little bit about this gentleman, this 40-year-old. Ernest is his name, Ernest A. Pender III. I got to meet Ernest A. Pender II. I can only imagine what Ernest A. Pender I was like. But that being said, when he talks finance, he's at the top of his game. You say, how do you know that? Some of the things he's been able to do. Educated. When you have to go and become a financial advisor, or you're looking to become a financial investor and you want to do that, there are a number of certifications that you must receive, and there's certain levels. You've heard of the series. Well, he has climbed the ladder of the series. I think the top might be at 6 or something. He's up there, 8. He's up there. But listen, there's also another side of this educator, this financier, this investor, heavily involved in the church, has his doctorate degree in Christian counseling, founded a Christian ministry for prisoners. He's also served in the city of Tampa with our mayor on the advisory committee. He's also been a part of, and if those of you remember when the Super Bowl came here quite some years ago, he was a reason we were able to get a seat at the table. But we were able to collaborate and get with others so that we could receive some of that money, and we all got to participate in that particular Super Bowl. To look at him, you would wonder, what is this man and what is he all about? One of the fun facts I like to know about him, he's married. The other thing is he's married. I don't know if he wore his boots today, but he's a true cowboy too. But that being said, to look at him, you know he works out. He's a pilot. Don't pick a fight with him. He's a sensei. He knows karate. He scuba dives. And he'll help you make some money and get some money at a discount. Mr. Ernie Pender. What you have business owners know, your business owner, you've done well in your financial career. What information can you share with them that will help them as a business owner and open a business?
Thank you for that introduction. I was beginning to ask who that is. I've been around a while, so I had a chance to enjoy a number of opportunities, but that list was long. I forgot about those things. You know, I'm looking at the company that I am in, and I so appreciate again Ms. Cassar and Dr. Stone, and then a CPA, Ms. McDuffie, and this attorney here. He was speaking to me, honestly. And I'm going to answer your question, but to know that we have what we need right at our fingertips. And again, had I not been here today, I probably not would have met them. And I hear the tagline, for the people. What law office is that? Okay, but does Morgan know me? Does he know you? And it's about exposure and coming together, collaborating. That's what we're doing today. It's so important, because I had an attorney come to our office and speak to my team, because I want them to be well-rounded, to know more than insurance, because we teach our clients. Like Einstein was known for saying, I don't know everything, but I do know where to find the answers. And that's what I do. I send them when I know they have a need. And so the thought is that the attorney said to us, I don't believe that Morgan is the best, but they're the largest. And they got there because they collaborate and they advertise, and they got exposed and they advertise. And that's what we're doing here, getting to know one another. So ask me about a financial plan. What's important about money to you? That's the question I ask when you come to my office. I want to do a fact finder. I want to know what's important about money to you. And then I start that process. Everything that we can provide, we're going to provide, but we're going to teach you first. And everything I don't know, I have a large battery of people to call. And they talk about me, I'm not a pastor, I am an ordained minister, right? I'm not ashamed, just want to get it. I don't have a church. But here's the point. When I was going through seminary, I wasn't going to change my occupation, but I wanted to learn more about what God intended me to know, because it's been filtered and fed to me in one way or another over my life. But listen to this. Are you listening? Did you know that there are more scriptures on money than there is salvation? Google it. Don't believe it. Google it. Now, does that mean that money is more important than salvation? No. God knew that we would have more challenges handling money. Wrong and right is a little bit easier to know, but when to use credit and when not to? How much of your credit card should you use? They won't tell you that to raise your credit score, they're looking for people who use no more than 30% of the credit line. So if you have a $10,000 credit line, don't use more than $3,000 and they'll send you an increase. We're going to up, because they feel they can trust you. Because what we're doing when we go in and apply for credit, we're asking them to go in business with us. That's the way they look at it. They're partnering with you, but they want to know, am I going to give them money back? Can I trust you? How do you spend money? And with AI today, they are studying everything. Like you're on your phones right now. You think everybody's getting the same commercial you're getting? No, it was what you last looked for. Cookies. Cookies. And there's a very bright young man that I met. He's our engineer in our office. He has clients like Google and Amazon, and he's telling us honestly and openly that big business has an agenda to take small businesses out of business, and especially minority-owned businesses. So we have to be, like they were saying, got to have your business in order. You got to, because they're looking for any way they can to marginalize us, and we've always known that, right? But the business plan, if you're a business owner, and the capability statement that she's already spoke about, when we go to secure finance, when we are declined, they never tell you much more than your decline. What we need is someone to teach us how not to be declined. And that's what we have here. We have resources. I know in Tampa, I don't know if you have in Lakeland, there's a center called the Entrepreneurs Development Center. Okay, so there's a collaborative. And you want to go and learn how to look and sound like you want people to take you serious. So when you come to our office, that's what we do. We're filtering at you to those, and a lot of those resources are no charge. They are. And when we do a financial plan, we want you to be made whole. We want you to know that this is one-stop shop and we can do it all right here. But you gotta have a financial plan. I did say I was a minister, right? I said, and I'm gonna tell you, everything's in the Bible. So for those of you that I really want to get your attention, I'm gonna bring God into it. Habakkuk 2:2. Here's what he says. Take the vision, make it plain, write it down on tablets, so he who reads it can run with it. That's a business plan. That's a financial plan. That's a contract. Hallelujah. And brother, I had a rental property that I started at a handshake, ended up trying to do business with our people. And I'm not saying it's our people's problem, but I violated something I knew. I liked them so much, I didn't put it in writing. And then it became a bad experience. In God's word, he gives us another that you would like to know. There are people who say, well, money ain't everything. You heard that before? I believe this word, let God be true and every man a lie. So in Ecclesiastes, the preacher said, the wisest man ever lived, King Solomon, he says, a feast is for laughter and wine makes one merry, but money answers all things. So I don't apologize about how much money I can earn. And there are people try to justify, I don't need no money, and they try to make it seem like money's evil. Let God be true and every man's a lie.
Give him a big round of applause.
Amen.
Thank you. While you were talking about the
Good
number
stuff.
one book that there is, I learned something from Ernie A. Pender II. We were both, I was director of new members orientation at my church, the New Mount Zion Mission Baptist Church in Tampa, Florida, where the Reverend L. Roundtree is our pastor. But your father said, look it up. There are over 3,000 promises in that book. How many of them have you used? You'll never get to 3,000. Thank you so much. Moving right along, so you've heard what type of business structure you want. You've heard the legal ramifications of what you need to know. You know I have faculty too, and it has a whole business plan. Where are you going to set your business up? Our next expert panelist was Ann Thompson, as I shared with you all at the beginning, who sent her eaglet. Ms. Latasha Glover is going to represent Thompson Property Management Group. But we're going to segue a little differently. We've heard Larry share a little bit about how he used pharmaceuticals on both ends of the spectrum. Thompson here would like to let you know, as a business owner, many of us have been given second chances. So as you're going out to look into real estate and find out what it is and where you want to hang your shingle, please share with us why real estate and the location of your business is so important.
I would have to say, hey now. Oh, okay, okay, gotcha. Good. Location. Well, so let me just say, I got my license last year in May. Have always been an entrepreneur. That's just, it's in my blood. But location, they taught it in every class that I've been taking for the last year. Location, location, location. It is the most important thing. Where do you build your business? You want to look at the market of that area. Are people living there? Are people buying there? What is going on in that market? So their location is the most important thing that you have. Money is first. Money is definitely first. So I'm just tell y'all a little bit about me. I am from a family of 7, and I am a 4th daughter, and I have 4 daughters. And I got into real estate just off, as I say, I've been an entrepreneur all my life. My mom has had us in the flea market business all my life. So anybody from Tampa know about Funland? I was there. So I was at the flea market selling some stuff, and this guy came up to me and he was like, you know, you're such a great person, you know, you have this great personality, you will be so good in real estate. He was like, I have a friend, he just made $6,000. He sold one house. I said, sign me up. So I went back home. I lived in Tallahassee, and not even 24 hours later, I was online looking for how to be a real estate agent. I found me a class, $69.95. That's for me. So I took it 3 months, got it. But see, with me, I have been to prison. And for anybody who don't know me, I did 6 years in prison. I did 3 years in state, I did 3 years in state. I had an 8.5 year sentence total. But God. I had to go to the board, Frank board, in order, I did all this, I passed the class, and then they tell me I can't take the state test because I've been in prison. Hold on. Hold on. I served an amazing God. He could do anything. So I went to their little hearing, set up there and online, you know, during the pandemic. He said, one lady, I went to a Frank hearing lately, so, and I believe I know which lady it was, but on the virtual hearing, this lady that was asking me what I did since I've been home from prison, and the lady said, just tell us what you've been doing. I said, well, I've been working since I've been home from prison, but my thing started in prison. I got my cosmetology license, I got my business education, I got my CDLs in there, I did my forklifter operator license. I started doing this thing. She's gonna find out what I did. Girl, I've been doing stuff. And after I told them my little bit that I've been doing, she said, oh, I'll nominate her. And somebody said I'll second, and boom, there it was talking. So that, saying that, I think for everything. But I do this because I have 4 daughters. I've been to prison, and I've been on the drug side, and I've been on the good side. I've been back and forth, and money has always been the rule of my missions. But I realized in prison that everything that I spent working on trying to do something illegal, I could have been putting that into something and building a business. So I turned that thing around for my kids so they can see, okay, I got $4. You know, my mom been in prison, my mom done this, my mom done did that, but look at your mom now. Yeah. So my mission for my girl, so real estate is I don't want to say it's my passion. Cooking is my passion, and as y'all see, I am Shorty Soul Food. Got y'all lunch over there. Make sure you put your sandwich together like I put it in the box. Everything is in there for you. But I have so many different entrepreneurial things that I have. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have a multiple of things, but real estate is going to be my seed, and real estate gets me out into the world. I get to meet people, I get to network, I get to be at places like this, and I get to meet so many amazing people. So I don't know. I lost it. So my person, so this is my seed money to expand, to help people, to help kids. I got my cosmetology license that is to open a thing just for kids. You know, I want a nonprofit organization just for kids. We go get our nails done and our hair done. Why we're not doing it for the kids? So I am here in real estate to expand. Property management. And Ann Thompson, if y'all don't know her, she is amazing. Amazing. But back to the question at hand. Location. If you want to build your business, you have to do your due diligence to your location. You have to watch what's going on in the market. You have to watch your surroundings. You just gotta make sure you pick the right spot. And you need me. You need me because I am a Tampian. I am from here. Well, you can say I'm a Floridian because I got 4 wheels and I can ride anywhere. My license say Florida. So I will do my due diligence for you to make sure that you get the perfect location for your business. We aim to succeed over here. All right.
Overall, Ann Thompson clipped her wings. And to you, Larry, and this is why your stories and your testimonies are so important. Tasha shared her story, but what you all don't know is when a couple heard her story, one young lady in particular decided, because she had been homeless, she had lived in her car, she had gotten into trouble, but she had $1 million property. And who do you think got the listing for that property? She told them, yeah. She told the owner, not Thompson Property, she told the owner, I want her because I've been where she was. Social capital is so very, very important. The people you meet here today, as you're listening to them, whether you're live or whether you're here, Diva J says this all the time. If you're in a room, be present. Make sure they know you were in the room. And that being said, thank you again for your amazing story. I want to talk to a little bit here. We're going to go ahead and segue right into our next sponsor and guest, Mrs. Jeanette Diva J. Forge Smith. Dr. Stone is going to tell you a little bit about her because you have her bio and you share that information.
Yeah, she just.
And so Diva J, when she talks to you about branding and marketing your business, she's also going to touch a little bit, and this happened a lot during the pandemic, on e-commerce. When you look at yourself, you are your business. So when you walk out there, what do you look like? Diva J?
Well, this is an amazing bio, but I do want to say it's pretty significant that two theme words we are hearing here today is the power of knowing and understanding who God is and the power of connecting and collaborating. So I just wanted to put a pin in that. And what's so significant is that as I introduce this beautiful young lady here, and I read her bio, it takes me back to just a smidgen. My first degree is journalism from the University of North Carolina. I got accepted to Howard, but I wanted to stay close to home. But I went back and I worked at BET for about 8 years before I matriculated back to this area. So I don't think God does anything by accident or happenstance, or we just happen to come in here today. I believe that it was intentionally orchestrated for every person that is here in the seats, in the room, on Facebook, and it's up to what we are going to do about it. Let me tell you about this extraordinary Jeanette Diva J. Forge Smith, a native of Tampa. I learned a new word, Tampian. Did I say that right? I'm today years old when I learned that one. I'm poking. Larry, yeah, Polk County. Tampian, the founder and CEO of Dash Coordinating and Marketing and the Director of Community Engagement and Outreach for Cornerstone Family Ministries. Her 16+ years of experience as a journalist, media personality, marketing strategist, event coordinator, and consultant has enabled her to work within diverse industries. Diva J has used her strategic communication skills to consult political leaders, national organizations, corporations, countries, private businesses, and clients throughout the world. She has served as the special projects manager for the Tampa Housing Authority, where she doubled their, let me back up on that one, where she doubled their fundraising income, established major partnerships with corporations, and initiated new programs in less than 8 months. Yeah. As I mentioned, she graduated from Howard University with a degree in broadcast journalism, recognizing the advantages of modern technology to enhance communication and tactics and target specific audience. In 2011, she founded Dash Coordinating and Marketing LLC, which stands at the forefront of the new media generation through offering tech-based services, including website development, graphic design, mobile apps development, and promotional event planning. Jeanette Diva J. Horge Smith is a member of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women. Let's give that a. Check this out. A former contestant for Miss Maryland USA 2012. Part of Maryland. What part of Maryland?
Wow.
I lived in Hyattsville. In efforts to give back to the community, Diva J serves as a motivational speaker to students, adults, and emerging entrepreneurs about personal and business development. Come on, give it up one more time and celebrate her. Diva J Horge Smith.
Thank you, thank you. So I believe the topic I'm speaking on is branding your company, marketing and branding. So the first thing I always tell anyone, any age, business owner or not, is that you are a brand. And so it starts with you. And oftentimes I say, give me a brand, and people yell out Gucci, Prada. And I'm like, okay, well, how does it make you feel? Nice, you know, taken care of, quality. And then my next question to them is, how do you make other people feel? Because it's how you make other people feel that's what they begin to affiliate with you and your brand. Before there was a logo, there was an idea, there was a business plan, and that came from you. And so for every entrepreneur, whether they want to be in front of the scenes or behind the scenes, they are still their brand. There is no way of escaping the brand that you naturally are. And so then in understanding that, there are some key components to your brand. How you show up. How you show up, not just in your attentiveness, not just in how you speak, not just in what you wear, not just in how your hair is, not just in are your nails done. And it doesn't always have to be. As long as you're aware of how you show up, you're gonna be okay. But be aware of how you show up and be intentional about that as well. That's always the key thing. I just spoke at the Les Peters Girls Detention Center for Juvenile Justice. And that was my speech to them. Even in that facility, they are building their brands. And so that's the first step. Now, as entrepreneurs, you've gotten your business plan, you started to do what you're doing. The first thing, well, one of the first things you may think of, at least now, is your website. So website development is typically, I would say, the gateway to people coming to my company at Dash. And the website, similar to a brick and mortar, it's your storefront, it's your digital storefront. When people go to your website, it should be very clear to them what you offer and how they can get it. Within the first quarter of your website, before they have to scroll one time, what are you offering and how can we get it? The call to action. The call to action is critical, whether it be on your website, whether it be on your social media pages, and you're now using buttons that allow you to say, hey, contact us now, visit here. It is important to be intentional about your brand in every way possible. And then with that being said, when you're building your website, it's not always about heavy content, videos. If you have to keep things up to par. So if you don't like being on camera, hire someone who does, because you need video content. People want to go to a site and press play. People want to go to social media and simply scroll and hope your video comes up in their reels. And so when we say that we're on the forefront of the new media generation, it's because we help our clients get there. One of our clients was the National Dental Association, and we built their website 4 times. So one thing I also will tell you about your brand is that it will evolve. As your business grows, as you grow, as your services grow, it should evolve. So if you are 10 years into business with the same website, maybe even the same logo, maybe even the same business cards, you can go ahead and call us at Dash Marketing. And we'd love to rebrand your business because it's time. So you can visit dashmarketingllc.com. And then I also have our capability statements here in hand. But with that being said, I think, it's so important to just be extremely intentional. And then you talked about the e-commerce. So when the pandemic hit, Dash did very well. Because for businesses that had not taken advantage of the new media and technology, it was the only way to really, really continue to do business. And so what we saw and what we knew before the pandemic was, even if you're just a service-based business, you still have somewhat of an e-commerce. Again, when people are going to the website, they're trying to figure out what you offer and how they can get it. So if you're selling any merchandise, I'm looking at all this beautiful stuff over here. I am really hoping I could go online and buy it. Exactly. And so definitely those of you who are selling products, if you have not built an e-commerce site, it's not intimidating. It's not something you should be intimidated by. It's something that you should pursue, even if you're only starting with 5 pieces. Just start somewhere. And that's one of the key things I tell new entrepreneurs is just start. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to get it right. You don't have to know all the answers in the business plan, but you do have to get started. And you have to be intentional with that start. And then I think I'll close it out with saying the reason we pair marketing with promotional event planning is because just like things like this, right? You can have a needle in a haystack, which is a website. It's a needle in a haystack. Even with search engine optimization, it's still a needle in a haystack. You can have 12,000 followers on Instagram. Doesn't mean any of them spend money with you. So it's important to meet people where they are. And if you can't meet them there, then create a space for them to come. And so that's why we do promotional event planning, and not on the scales of grand openings, we do those too, but now on the scales of concerts, galas, tournaments. Think big and think beyond what you can afford. Collaboration is key. All it takes is the partnership of a 501c3 to make anything happen, and some sponsors. So with that being said, I want to encourage anyone, wherever you are in your business journey, to evaluate your brand. Look at what can you do to enhance it. What is tangible? There's low-hanging fruit things like social media. If you're not on social media, come on, you got to do it. You can't escape it. It's free. If you haven't gotten into making reels, come on, get your cameras out, do a quick little turnaround, one selfie, and put some trending music under it. Make sure it's trending. It has a little arrow with a point. But there's all these little nuances and ways that you can build your brand. But again, I think the most important thing that you can think of throughout that entire process is being intentional about making sure you're not just building it to have it out there, but you're targeting your audience. Who is your audience? Where are they? And then where are you? And hopefully you're in the same space.
Thank you so much. I just love how the Gen Zs and X's and the betas and all of them, they are so smart.
What she didn't tell you
Oh my
was, as a
goodness.
little girl, she taught dance at, we called it Riverfront Park back then, a huge park in Tampa Bay. It's now Julian B. Lane Riverfront Park. Diva J, due to social capitalism and being present in the room, she's also a host, third hour of Let's Talk Business with Ntouch News.
Nice.
Was able to coordinate, manage the Capitol's annual. You gotta let them know
Okay.
what you did.
Right.
And you have to say, she was at BTE.
BET.
BET. She was on her way to the White House.
Okay.
All right, I'll tell you. I'm headed to the Congressional Black Caucus next week, which includes and I was fortunate to be given the opportunity by the Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Tampa Alumni Chapter to serve my company, to serve as one of the event production and management entities for their conclave, their national conclave, which came to Tampa and spent almost $125 million. Yes. And so we produced the events that they did at Armature Works, at the Florida Aquarium, and the takeover of Julian B. Lane Riverfront Park, which was a full circle moment for me, being a little girl playing at that park to a professional taking over the park.
Thank you again. And I'm going to turn the mic over to Dr. Sally, but I just wanted you all to know, to our Facebook family, thank you all for tuning in. We kind of combined part 1 and part 2, so we gave them 2 parts, and our special guests and our sponsors for this event came to the microphone. Next, we're going to do the media and social relations. You've heard about the website, you've heard about social media, you can't hide from this. You got your brand, you're starting your marketing. What next?
Isn't it so neat how this all ties together? Is she not amazing? This is how I'm going to introduce, this has been such good quality, enriching information that we've had to just make sure we get it all in. And I am going to put this in the atmosphere. This is not the last one. Can I get anybody that can agree with me on this one? We need to do this on a regular basis. And that is, I'm gonna say about that. Miss Keisha Pickett Boyd. She is known for her proven track record of developing strong relationships with national news outlets, community and professional organizations, leaders, and everyday citizens. Keisha Boyd Pickett Boyd is the new Director of Communications, Strategy, and Community Engagement. Her previous positions include Director of Public Relations at Burrell Communications, overseeing prominent clients such as Toyota and the American Red Cross. She also served as Director of Public Relations for H&L Partners, managing the McDonald's business in 5 regions, and held the position of Director of Communication at Bethune-Cookman University. I'll take a pause for the calls right there. In 2003, Keisha established the Pickett Public Relations Group, collaborating with renowned entities such as Google, Paragon Film Music, Warner Brothers, and Disney. She is a 5-time Griot Drum Journalism Award winner for published features on Black in the Bay, in the Bay.com, and Power Broker Magazine. Through her work at blackinthebay.com, Keisha has reached thousands of Bay Area citizens, serving as a prominent voice for Tampa's African-American community. In addition, she has been named one of Tampa Bay's most influential people and recognized as a Tampa Bay TBT Rising Star. We can't even make this up. She is a distinguished graduate of the prestigious Florida Agriculture and Mechanical University, FAMU, and went on to earn an MBA from the University of Phoenix. Keisha is married and the mother of 1 son. Come on, give it up for Miss Keisha. Amazing, amazing bio.
All right, I'm also a member of Delta Sigma Theta. Ooh. Thank you all for having me. My Mama Kuso, I call her Mama Kuso, one of our adopted daughters. But I am so excited to be here. Pick PR has, well, we celebrated 20 years on September 5th. She's read off my bio. Diva J shared some things in regards, and we will work tandem together if we were partners with you all, right? Because she concentrates on, marketing and some other things that I would not as a PR person. One thing that I learned early on in my career, and I've been doing PR for 24 years, marketing and PR, they are sisters, cousins, but they're not the same, right? So we one simple way that you can differentiate the two, marketing is what you pay for, right? PR, press, is what you pray for, okay? Right? So it's very simple. If you want the front page of TBT or Tampa Bay Times, you go and purchase it. You say, Keisha, I want to be on the front page of the newspaper. I say, great, can I have $10,000? We can pay for it. I can take your money and I can place you wherever you want to be. Now, I always tell people that's all fine and dandy, and you need both to be successful. But you also need PR. I think PR is PR and marketing sometimes, but PR, people don't know. I spend a lot of time educating people on what public relations is. It is my job to take your brand, once Diva J has helped you to build it and establish it, and then let people know, because what good is it if you're doing great work and nobody knows you're there? Right? How many people do we know opened a store and nobody knew they were there? You know, or that you do great work at the web works and nobody knows, right? So there are a million life insurance companies and insurance companies and attorneys. We're not anything new, but what makes you stand out? What makes you different? What is your story? Why would people care? It's my job to figure it out, right? So for instance, anybody in here, if I talk to you long enough, I'm gonna know how I can pitch you. Give me an hour and I'm gonna know. How am I gonna make you stand out? It's about being, you gotta pay attention, okay? Not only do we want people to know what you do, we want news stations and news people to come. Okay, hold on before I even go there. I appreciate marketing and advertising, but I value PR a little bit more, right? Because how many times do we go to our mailbox and we have advertisements in our newspapers? You just throw them away. You don't even look at them. Look at them. Right. Don't pay for direct mail. It's a waste of money. Don't. You what? I mean, you know, there are just things in marketing and PR that we can go through. I don't tell my folks, unless you have a big pocket billboards. No, it takes 7 people at least 7-10 times before they even realize it is there. So like, how much money do you have to spend? So, correct. So yeah, we can do this all day. But on the PR side, if you have a journalist or someone who is truly interested in your story, you want them to tell that story because they're respected. People who are reading the business journal, when they see that Harry Queen has written a story, they're going to tune in and read it and believe it because they're credible journalists. They're going to take what they know and would have read and retain that versus seeing your advertisement, unfortunately, or they have to see it so many times. So you need both. And I tell people when they're creating their plan, they're creating their financials, don't forget those 2 vital pieces. You need the PR, you need the marketing, okay? I also will tell people all the time who come to me, I have to come on, Keisha, I need you. Do you? Are you ready? Seriously, are you ready? Because if you don't have a brand, you don't know, if I can say, Rolanda, what do you do? And you ramble to me for about 2 minutes, I'm like, you're not ready. I need a 30-second elevator pitch. Everybody on your team needs to know what you're doing concisely, quickly. And if I'm in an elevator and all I have is 15 seconds with you, I need to know, oh, that's why I need you. Let me talk to you. Let me get your car. I'm gonna call you. Right? So you have to understand and get your brand together before you need a publicist and a PR person to put you in front of a TV news camera. Okay. But I do media train if you're not comfortable in front of the camera. I do media train a lot of clients if they're not comfortable, like Rolanda, she's not comfortable, right? But by the time we get in front of the news camera, she'll be flawless, right? And plus, once you are in your element, you know your subject, you're not shy because this is what you do all day long, right? And you know, like the back of your hand. Most of the time you should, okay? But finding your angle, finding your pitch, paying attention to what's going on in the current news, right? So for instance, if there is a crisis in insurance, I'm gonna say, hey, I'm gonna call Bay News now, hey, I got somebody, Mr. E.A. Pender III, he knows all about insurance. You need a subject matter expert. Here is one. And it's the person that gets to the news station first. If there's a crisis going on, if it's a medical situation, pharmacy, big pharma is always in the news. Okay, I got somebody that can speak to that because you've been in pharmacy and this is what you do. If there's a nonprofit situation, somebody's in trouble in a crisis, that's your opportunity to talk about how they could have avoided this crisis in a nonprofit. So it's about finding those ways and those different angles that you can insert yourself. And you have to be open-minded. You got to think outside the box. Okay, we have Mr. Rollins back there, who's an amazing, stylist, and we have different things coming up. It's Fashion Week, and it might not be something that's happening here, like New York. I mean, we have it here in Tampa, but let's say it wasn't happening here. okay? But it's a huge thing. It's a cultural moment. We call those cultural moments. So I would call the news station, say, hey, we have a great stylist here that can talk about what people are going to see coming up for Fashion Week. You might not be thinking about that, but it's my job as a PR person to find the angles for you, to pitch you, to make you relevant and make people want to talk to you and figure out why you're important to your industry. What else? I also wanted to take an opportunity because I know she mentioned I'm director of strategy communications and community relations. And she's talked, right, it's a long title. Now, I've been in business for 20 years, but I've also fluctuated from business to corporate and several other things. So at this moment in my career, I still have picked PR and I have people that work with me for that. But I took a position at the Tampa Hillsborough County Expressway Authority as a director. Yay. And I am excited about that position. And my business has propelled me to take that position because I am in a seat where I can make some pretty big decisions. And one of those decisions is making sure that we're diverse and that we are reaching out to other businesses, minority businesses, because there's a lot of money in transportation, right? And it's a very new, yes. Yes, ma'am. There's lots of things going on, and we had a conference last week on autonomous vehicles, and there's so much going on in AI and transportation and just AI period. And a lot of us are afraid that AI is going to take out. Like I was like, well, why is somebody going to need me to write a press release when they have ChatGPT? What am I going to do? But I also sit on a board with Dr. Frazier, with George. Dr. Frazier is on a board with me for We Are Digital, Dr. George Frazier. And we have powerful meetings. We have Dr. Chavis, Ben Chavis on that board, General Brigadier Arnold Bray. Like, we have a pretty diverse, right? And one thing that we learned is AI is coming. Yeah. It's here, right? But I mean, like, it's really coming, right? It's about folding yourself in, learning the skills so you don't get left behind, right? So that's the same thing with me and PR. There's so many things that have changed in the 24 years I've been doing PR, where people don't need to go to the news anymore. They go to social media. Before the news goes, you got it on your phone. So what do? I have to know all the digital creators. I have to know everybody who's on social media. A lot of people who are telling stories are not just your traditional, what we call traditional media, radio, TV. They're social media folks. So you need to know who is talking about your industry via social media because they have 1 million followers and you need to be sitting with them. So social influencers and understanding who those folks are and how much money you need to set aside for them because they don't come cheap sometimes. That's a part of your marketing plan. Now it should be a part of your marketing plan, your social influencers and who you're going to have as your ambassador speaking for you. So yeah, there's lots to learn, grow with your business. PR marketing should always be a part of it because, like I said, there is no business with no people. And if they don't know you're there, who are you serving? Okay. And yeah, that's
This information is so important and the panelists are so important that they decided they wanted to partner with Dr. Sally Stone to make this happen. To be able to present this information to you, to our Facebook family, and to those who will look at the replay the weekend, a month later. This information is so key. Like, share. In addition to that, and all of this was in celebration of National Black Business Month. It was also in celebration of the Power of 31 movement. So to you, Larry Mitchell, to you, Rolanda McDuffie, to you, E.A. Pender III, my co-host sister here, Dr. Sally Stone, to my Eaglette, you might as well just call you Eagle, Tasha. Tasha, the lover, from I want to say Ian Thompson, but from Thompson Management Group, Property Management Group. She's already, these two here, y'all need to grab them before they even push the chairs. But to Keisha Pickett and Pickett PR and to Jeanette, Diva J. Ford Smith, Dash Marketing, we say thank you. I want you to know, first, enjoy your lunch and Shorty Souls, but we have some vendors who came here so that you can spend your $31+ Where is she? Rolanda, can you quickly?
No,
come on?
we
Come
can't
on,
wait.
turn around. Come on. I wish I could take my camera and pan around, but I'll let her briefly tell you why she's here and what she has. And then Rick Rollins, if you will make your way over here from Ricardo's. Menswear. Now, speaking of, Ricardo's, is that what she knows? He used to be at my campus, 5508, co-working in collaborative exchange, but he's moved up.
Hey, everyone. My name is Lulanda Monroe, and I am the owner. Okay. Oh, great. My name is Lulanda Monroe, and I'm the owner of Lou Chic Boutique, where fashion never fades. It's affordable fashion, but yet classy, unique, but most importantly, empowerment within women. And the empowerment part also comes with, I'm also a motivational speaker for young girls and outreach ministry in women. So beauty really starts from within. And then from within exudes that fearfully and wonderfully made masterpieces that you are. So make sure you check me out at louchicboutique.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, email marketing, text marketing. Oh. My background is media marketing and advertising. I worked for WTMP for about 10 to 15 years as a media marketing and executive. So that's my niche. So I do all of my marketing. I've been knowing Keisha for years. We've done things together. I'm excited to be here today. And also, quick little plug. I'm also having a jazz empowerment brunch in Tampa for about 200 women and 40 vendors who are Black-owned women. Yes. And it's all about business networking, empowerment, and just pushing those women who have been stuck. We're in a season where God is doing some awesome things, but a lot of times we're always saying we're waiting on God, but God is waiting on you. And so if you do your part, He'll do His part. And also, we just had this conversation about having these events also here at the Well. It is my passion, it is my assignment. To help women and help young people, especially within our community that look like us. So this is just the first time or the last time. What does it say? You're beginning. Do not despise small beginnings. Whatever you do, because they are so necessary for what God has for you. Thank you.
Really? So we're not going, but one of the things, Ricardo's was birthed out of the necessity to bring back something that I gave up for love. We'll tell you that story another time. But so in 2000, we opened Ricardo's in Bradenton when they were doing this push for minority businesses. And they pushed us so far back in a corner that nobody knew you were there. So I understand you have to make, so I started writing op-ed pieces for the Sarasota Herald and for the Bradenton Ledger, so that people would just, and this man came by one day and he said, you that colored boy that owns this place? And I said, no, I'm the Puerto Rican, Cuban, Native American, African American, gay man who owns this place. He said, oh, I didn't mean to. You know, he said, but no, what he said was in that moment, I didn't know that that was a wrong thing to say. I said, well, it is. And we began to chat, and he became one of my best customers. You know, and he never came in asking for a discount. He never came in asking for a break because he was a brother from another. And so it was one of those things. But when you love something, you sometimes put it on the shelf. You bring it back. And in 2016, I went to 5508 and we opened the Style Lab at 5508. Later it became the Style Lab, and then now it's called Style Lab 813. And so we opened there. And when the pandemic happened, I sat and said, well, Kathy Times asked me, well, what are you going to do? In a phone conversation, because she's my business coach. And she said, what are you gonna do? I said, well, I'm gonna go to the mall, get a kiosk and sell masks. And I kept talking. And she said, wait, let's back it up for a minute. You're going to do what? I said, I'm gonna create a mask boutique and we're gonna sell custom masks and we're gonna sell PP. We're gonna do all the things that are necessary because this is the time. There's a time in life, as Keisha just said, and I hope you caught this, that you have to pivot. It doesn't mean that you give up on your dream. It doesn't mean that you don't believe that God has ordered steps. What it says is that God has sent you in a different direction for this time and this season. So I went and I sold masks. And we opened kiosks in West Shore and over in Tyrone Square Mall. First 3 months, we did $150,000 selling masks. So I asked God, I said, this is what I planned to do when I came to this mall. But 2 months later in that, the people who had occupied the space that I had always wanted and dreamed of, it kept popping up in my memories going, here it is. And I was like, but God, how? Because the investors want to tell you how to do it their way. If I were you, I always tell people, if people come to you and say, if I were you, watch. Yes. First of all, watch what they're doing. Yeah. See if they're doing anything at all. And if they're doing it, how well are they doing it? So I said, God, is there a way to get rid of the investors? And I looked at my bank account and I said, oh, I don't need that. And so I pulled out what I had invested in Mask and Style and opened Ricardo's because the opportunity presented itself. And then, pivot. I mean, the pivoting in the pandemic was not a bad thing because the pandemic, you knew what you were doing was a good thing because it opened doors for you. The Bible says that if you're faithful over little, He makes you rule over much. So we grew to this point where we had 3 stores in the mall at the same time. There was Mask and Style, there was Ricardo's, and then we opened Artisan Row, which became a collaborative where people who could not open big stores in the mall could occupy space, and they did. And so we had 14 vendors, predominantly people of color, and that's what we did. And so when the time was, and this is the last point, when God says close, you have to be okay with closing. When people weren't buying masks, we said bye-bye to the mask companies. Okay, when it was time to let those who had occupied that space grow beyond, and I'm proud to say that 3 of the businesses actually opened their own spaces because we grew them, and said, there's a spot open, what you gonna do? And now Ricardo sits there and we're waiting to see what happens. We're praying to come to Lakeland soon because we keep getting people that say we need to be here. So we're gonna do what we can. But the bottom line is for anybody in business, every day is not gonna be a great day. It's not gonna be a mountaintop experience. But if you're willing to walk through the valley, it'll be okay. But you have to be willing to walk through the valley, and you have to realize that there's value in the valley. Because that's how, when you learn and how you can take down the giant. Sometimes it'll be with a smooth stone. Sometimes it will simply be with the faith. So pull it back and see what it is.
Thank you so much.
Drop the mic.
We want to make sure that, for sure, we want to make sure that you start pulling out your $31 and make your way over to, they were our premier vendors. We have some others who are here, but you'll get to sit and talk down to them. They'll be here tonight. So tag your peeps. Go ahead and send out your Facebook shares. Meet us back here at 8 p.m. Meet us
Not at 8. At 6. Actually, can I just add a little caveat to that? If you would please meet us back here if you can at 5 p.m. And I'll tell you why. 5 p.m. is going to be a mural reception. When you go out, you'll see that beautifully displayed mural. That is a project that Friends of the Well, the nonprofit for the well, is supporting with the city of Lakeland. And 4 artists actually have rendered those images. And it is absolutely amazing. One of the artists is Sam Butler, son of Robert Butler, one of the original highwaymen. Vin Mitchell was one of the artists. Jesse, what is it? Vin Martin, Jesse, another young man who is an amazing artist. Kent McAllister. I didn't want to forget anyone, but at 5 o'clock, we are going to be dedicating that short, sweet, but bringing art into Midtown. If you're familiar with Lakeland and you have driven around the area, you will see that it is so important to see reflective, which is what I think we have all said of our Black and Brown community in Lakeland. And that's the start. Those were 9 panels, 11 are going down Parker Street. So if you know an artist that would love to put art on the wall, the city is paying $600 per panel for them to put that art on the wall. So we are so excited about it. That's at 5 o'clock. And then at 6 begins our B2B Blender.
Yes.
Come on back and meet us at the well.
As we were talking about collaborations, we also have with us Jim Webb of the Webb Works. You're talking about getting your videos together. If you don't want to be on, Rolanda, go see Mr. Webb. He came here Monday and shot a video with Michelle Maynard, the founder and board chair of Medco Tampa, and as well Dr. Sally Stone. Ernest Pender was also in the video. Will we be able to see it here on Facebook or just totally separately over there? Can we hear it?
Yes, I'll turn it up.
Okay, well, we're gonna say our goodbyes. This show is a wrap. Please go do some shopping. And this man is going to let us know what he has right here. You have the mic.
Thank you. My name is Jim Webb of the WebWorks Video Productions, 25 years at Channel 8, Canal Ocho, see? And now 15 years of my own on West Shore Boulevard, a mile north of Gandy in South Tampa. I want to talk to you about branding. I need the help. I too believe there's a divine intervention here, the way this came to me. Thanks for the opportunity. And these 3 are featured here. I'll turn up the sound later, but we came in on Monday and pre-recorded a little promotion. So whatever's not out, we'll get it out.
Go ahead and take care of that. We need you to purchase Rolanda's book. We need you to, what you got over there? I'm working my way around.
Oh, and purchase your headshots over here for $36.
Oh my goodness.
Headshots for $31.
We need you to stop by JN's insurance table.
Yes.
And as well, Scott is here, Scott Bigley.
Scott's here.
And I know the name of your company.
Whatever.
Financial, they are here as well. Our 2 premier sponsors, make sure you stop by EA Pender and Associates table. Donna Hill is here and they will assist you with all of that money you've been wondering what to do with. Now, Medco. Let's see. I believe we have the applications that you will be able to fill out, but you can go online. Make sure to register. You'll hear Michelle Maynard talking about it. And it's so important. And I think the cost has been changed to $100 for the 2-day event.
The 28th and 29th.
28th and 29th. Thank you so much. This show, podcast, is a wrap.
It's a